back in a special edition of Hannity. Democrats know they're in trouble. Nobody wants to be associated with them or their far-left policies right now. So the party is desperate to find a way to get America to like them again. Now, there's a group out there called the Third Way. They are a think tank that claims they're trying to prevent the Democrats from becoming too liberal. Good luck. And they have one idea for how Democrats can improve their standing with the public: stop talking like crazy people. The group put out a list of words Democrats should stop using. Highlights include justice-involved people, patriarchy, cisgender, the unhoused, privilege, and, of course, safe spaces. So, will this plan actually work? Let's ask Project 21 Chairman Horace Cooper and the co-host of the Two Ways morning meeting, Dan Turpentine. So I'd like to start with you, Dan. As a Democrat, do you feel unburdened by what has been?
Well, look, first off, full disclosure, when I was a political consultant, Third Way was a client. And I know these guys. They're incredibly smart, incredibly strategic. They knew by putting this out it was going to be a rough day at the office for the party, that we were going to be mocked. But amazingly, Charlie, they knew they had to do it because we're still in so much trouble. You know, after the election, everyone said, oh, we need to make all these changes. We need to become more culturally connected. Well, Donald Trump has gotten rid of DEI and the word police kind of in the general public. But within the Democratic Party, it is alive and well. People are terrified of being canceled. When you go on TV, a member of Congress, if you're out there, your staff hears from the interest groups, hey, you need to say this, you need to say that. If we're going to move on, we have to end this absurd chapter in our history. And so I give Third Way credit. We're going to take a hit,
right,
but they're doing what's right by putting this out.
So, Horace, when you listen to some of these words that Democrats have perfected, the euphemisms, which as a collector of euphemisms, I rather like a lot of these words because they're hysterical. Why do they use these words?
These are the words that people use when they live inside a special bubble where they can communicate with other people who live in the special bubble. The problem isn't the use of these words. The problem is they need to get out of the special bubble. Too many people are in the academy that make up leadership roles. Too many of them lead what are euphemistically referred to as the groups, and they use these kinds of words that alienate people. The truth is, those influences need to be pushed to the edge, and normal people ought to be allowed to take their place. Good luck, Democrats, because I don't see anytime soon that the crazies are going to step back.
So, Dan, you know, one of the lessons from Barack Obama, at least among independents and Democrats, and is similar to the lesson from Donald Trump. It was all about authenticity. And if you're as a candidate, your candidate does not come off as authentic, you're not going to win. And when you use these words, that's the best way to prove that there's nothing authentic about you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, it cuts two ways. If people are using these words in their authentic self, they're probably not our best candidates because, as Horace said, they're not culturally connected to the average voter. But you're absolutely right. I mean, there's nothing worse than being told, here's a slip of paper with 40 words to use and not use. You know, it's one thing to say, you know, the inheritance tax versus the death tax.
Right.
It's another thing when all your verbs have to be run by somebody.
Horace, real quickly, if you were to look across the landscape among Democrats and pick the candidate that you feared the most out of that lot, who would it be?
Well, I would say that somebody who comes from a really, really red state, even if they've got a D next to their name, at least they regularly interact with real people. I just don't see any sign that the left and the radicals that run the party are willing to let that kind of person come forward.
I think you're probably right. Horace, Dan, thank you both so much.